Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Evelyn Perian. Welcome to Team KAKE's final project presentation, where we are going to review two of the executive policies enforced by the University of Hawaii. We hope you find this presentation entertaining and educational. Some of the executive policies that pertain to this course were 2.210, the use and management of information technology resources, and 2.214, security and protection of sensitive information. Due to previous review assignments that we have completed in this course, we decided to incorporate risk ratings. If there is a high level of risk, then there is a significant and immediate impact to company resources and security postures. If there is a medium level of risk, then there is an impact to company resources and security posture, but the likelihood of an incident happening is somewhat unlikely due to complexity. Finally, if there is a low level of risk, there is a possibility of there being an impact to company resources and security posture, but the likelihood of an incident happening is very unlikely due to the high complexity and circumstances required for an incident to occur. Now, Executive Policy 2.210 is the use and management of information technology resources. I am going to give a brief overview of the topic. This policy describes the appropriate use of the University of Hawaii's information technology resources, which applies to students, faculty, staff, and authorized guest users. The policy was very well written. There are not a lot of vulnerabilities that we found. The vulnerabilities we did find were mostly in Section H that dealt with the special responsibilities of system and network administrators. The vulnerabilities that posed a medium level risk to the users were in subsections 3, 5, and 8. In the next slide, Kaiva will be identifying the vulnerabilities we discovered in Section H, as well as what the University of Hawaii could do to lessen the risk.
Hello. My name is Kaiva Bello, and I will be discussing Executive Policy 2.210 a little more in depth and review some of the vulnerabilities that we found. One of the first sections of the policy that we felt could be at risk if hackers were able to access the University of Hawaii systems was in Section H, subsection 3, that discusses system and network administrators not routinely collecting information on individuals' information usage patterns. While the university may not be collecting individuals' usage patterns constantly, it briefly discussed the routine logging of all user activities. Because it is unknown to us how the University of Hawaii secures this information, it is difficult to judge just how at risk this information is currently at. Our understanding based on what the policy discusses leads us to believe that this could be a vulnerability because this type of information could be used to connect users to their activities and be used at a later time to exploit those users further. Another section of the policy that we looked at was in Section H, subsection 5, which discusses system administrators configuring systems to enforce appropriate password policies. In referencing another section of the policy that further discusses what constitutes a good password, the policy does not require users to change their passwords. It only recommends it. By sending users an email requiring them to update their password every few months or every 6 months, it would help to decrease the likelihood of users' information being stolen. The last section of the policy we wanted to focus on was Section H, subsection 8, which states that system administrators shall publicize the backup policy. From our perspective as students, the policy is not publicized enough as none of us on the team had heard of the university's backup policy. Within this policy, at least, the backup policy of the university is not detailed, and how, if at all, they are protected. Since we are unsure of what protocols are in place to protect those backups, we believe there is a potential for the system to be vulnerable to hackers. Next, Al John will be discussing one of the other policies that we have reviewed.
Hi, I'm Al John Preza, and the other policy that we have reviewed is Executive Policy 2.214, titled Security and Protection of Sensitive Information Policy. Executive Policy 2.214 is intended to provide the foundation in storing, handling, and transmitting confidential information within the University of Hawaii system. Team KAKE has found 3 notable sections to discuss in overview. Section G is titled as the mandatory reporting of all information systems with sensitive information. This section denotes that there will be an annual report that describes all information systems that contain personal information. Although it's been stated that the reports will be upheld in a secure online system, we have concluded that a yearly maintenance is too long for a system that holds up to 18,000 students a year. Therefore, we have given the section a medium risk rating. In Section H, titled Access to Sensitive Information, the segment covers the granting and procedural duties of accessing information. Some notable features from the procedures are 1. Information security training, which mitigates insider threats. 2. Users must go through a request, review, and approval before accessing sensitive information. And last, an availability of audit trails for when, how, and to whom access was granted. However, we have decided that authorizing third parties with access to UH's data is a security risk, thus receiving a medium risk rating. The last section that we have reviewed is Section I, Transmission of Sensitive Information. This segment regulates how sensitive information should be transmitted physically and digitally. With paper transmissions, envelopes are marked as confidential to minimize the chance of unnecessary exposure. As stated in the general policy, all sensitive information are handled by resource stewards and data custodians who are responsible in handling of information. In terms of digital transmissions, the policy enforces the transmissions through emails is discouraged and that all information should be strongly encrypted over public networks or carriers. With fax transmissions, it must be properly protected at both sending and receiving locations. Due to the security described, we have determined that there are minimal risks for transmitting sensitive information.
After careful review of the University of Hawaii's Executive Policy 2.214, Team KAKE was able to pinpoint 3 security risks that are in need of rectification. In Section G, in regards to the mandatory reporting of all information systems that store and contain sensitive information, currently, Executive Policy 2.214 mandates that an annual report is sufficient to protect and manage the sensitive information on student, faculty, and staff records. However, a semi-annual report would be more appropriate in order to account for the large transitions of students, faculty, and staff in and out per semester. Thus, a semi-annual report to accommodate per semester would be able to better accommodate and protect sensitive information of fluctuating in and out student, faculty, and staff records. Furthermore, in Section H, subsection 2, in regards to the access procedures, there is a security risk in allowing third parties to access UH information systems with sensitive information in order to make sure that third-party systems are not a point of attack in order to grab and steal sensitive information from UH information systems. We propose that a security assessment of third-party systems should be implemented before authorizing access. Furthermore, the University of Hawaii's Information and Technology Services could provide a secure encryption program or service that isolates and protects any access UH information system records from a third-party system. Lastly, in Section I, in regards to the transmission of sensitive information, thankfully we found that this section encouraged users to utilize encrypted transmissions when sending and receiving sensitive data. Furthermore, UH provides a secure end-to-end encryption file transfer service known as UH File Drop that is free for users and non-users of the University of Hawaii to use in order to transmit documents and files that contain sensitive information, and thus it provides secure transfer services of these sensitive information to and from inside and outside the University of Hawaii's domain. The only security risk that we found within Section I was that there currently are no review procedures of these encouraged encryption services, and as every year cybercrime is just getting smarter and malicious threats are just getting faster and larger. There needs to be an annual review of these encryption services so that when users are cautioned and advised to use these services, that these services will do their job and protect users when they are sending and receiving sensitive data. In conclusion, we reviewed Executive Policy 2.210. 2.210 is regards to the use and management of information technology resources. Within there, we found 3 medium-level security threats and we also proposed adequate resolutions to resolve these security threats. In Executive Policy 2.214, in regards to the security and protection of sensitive information, we found 2 medium-level security threats and 1 low-level security threat, and we also proposed resolutions in order to resolve these security threats within these policies that we found. However, out both of these policies, perhaps the greatest security flaw we found was at the very end of the document, where we found the approval date, where if you can see here in our presentation, it's signed by David Lassner, who is the president and of the University of Hawaii, and both these policies were approved on October 31st, 2014, because cybercrime is just getting smarter and faster. There should be at least a 2-year. It's kind of a little bit past the 2-year mark, but there should be at least a 2-year approval, like a review and another approval by David Lassner, as well as appropriate IT specialists and security specialists. So just to make sure that the University of Hawaii's IT policies are up to date with current malicious threats and hacks in order to protect and maintain the integrity of the data stored on the University of Hawaii's information system. Thank you so much for your patience and your time while going through these slides with us. Thank you. We're just very thankful for this opportunity this semester to learn about security and the ethics surrounding security in computer science in today's modern age. These are our sources. Thank you once more, and wherever you are, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. See you later.